Hello everyone. At the BlackSheep Academy, we've already talked about good and evil and the balance of good and evil. So now I just wanted to take on a subtopic. It's like a discussion, okay, essentially, and everyone can have their own interpretations. But if you basically know what the Mahabharata is, okay, it's basically the Pandavas and the Kauravas fighting each other. Pandavas being good, okay, there are five of them, and the Kauravas have 100. All right. So the idea is that there are only five aspects of good and there are 100 aspects of evil. That is the whole lesson over here. But something opposite happens. They have this massive war, right? And these guys are fighting these guys for property. Property is essentially the kingdom, and they have a certain number of kings on their side. These guys have a certain number of kings on their side, and each one has their talents, each one has their strengths. All that happens, but what happens is when the bad evil loses, okay, evil loses, they all die on the battlefield, and the Pandavas rule for 36 years, right? So they rule for 36 years, and then after that they renounce life and they start walking, and one by one each of them dies, and then finally they reach heaven, and then they find that the eldest man, a guy who's a very righteous fellow, reaches heaven and sees that none of his brothers and sisters are here. His brothers and his mother, none of them are here. So he wonders, where are they and why are they not here? So he's taken to hell to see them all. And he gets angry. He gets angry. He's like, why are they in hell? And then they all go up and then they see all the bad guys in heaven. They're enjoying life, they're chilling. Okay, so the idea here is that why good gets it wrong, and why the idea of good is obfuscated in such a way that we misunderstand it and assume that certain things are good. Now, first let's go through the concept of heaven and hell. Heaven and hell is in the mind, okay? Now, people who think they are good, what do they say? This one is bad, that one is bad, that one is bad, right? So, half your hell is over there. You're assuming that you are in a world full of bad people, and then you are good and you're obsessed with being good, and not just that, your ego has made you feel good about yourself. I am good, okay? That is what your ego takes. The moment you have an ego about it, you are already in hell. You're already in a state of comparison, and when you compare things, right, you're either in heaven or hell. Now, evil, like the Kauravas, okay, they were in their own heaven. They loved doing evil. They did what they wanted to, and even there's a saying, Hitler went to heaven. Why is that? It's possible. I'm not saying if heaven and hell exist, it's possible. Why is that? Because he was in a state of heaven when this happened. He was in a state of doing what he thought was the right thing. So the idea here is that in heaven, all your desires are fulfilled. In hell, you are tortured, but it is only you who's torturing you, and only your desires that are being fulfilled if you're in that state of flow. So good, evil does not matter. Okay, these are just concepts, and they're concepts created by humanity. You can do whatever you want, but if you're in a state of flow, you will reach whatever you want. You'll go to heaven, okay, or if you're in a state of stopping, if you're trying to go against the universe, you will be in a state of hell. So even if you're in hell and your mind is good, you're in heaven, and if you're in heaven and your mind is disturbed, you're in hell. That's it, right? So it doesn't matter the comfort around you, what you're getting. Now we'll go to the concept of Krishna, okay? So Krishna explains dharma to Arjuna. Arjuna is the central Pandav, and he's supposed to be the most skilled. He's about to fight his own relatives. These are brothers, they're cousins, and he questions the ideas like, why should I fight them? They are my uncles, they are my teachers, they are my brothers, they are my sisters. Why would I do that? Why would I do that to them? And why would I do that to their wives? And then Krishna explains to him that this is dharma. This is something that is required of the moment. It does not matter. Good and evil does not matter. What you should be doing is what is required. You were promised something. Okay, you were promised the kingdom back after a certain number of years, and they did not keep that promise. So he fought back. Okay, at that point, he found that to be extremely important. He found that to be a thing that is needed for that moment. Similarly, when you're talking about dharma, only do things that are required. Okay, whatever required does not mean you do the good thing or you do the bad thing. It does not matter. What is required is what you feel is right. Okay, what makes sense to you at that point of time. That is all, and what is required. So he says it in an understandable manner. Of course, he tries to explain to them that there is a certain rule written by society, and we have to follow those rules. Obviously he could not say what you do is what you feel is right, otherwise probably Arjuna would have dropped his weapons and walked away. He probably felt it at that point of time. But when you feel that something is right, just do it fully, do it with full intensity, and that is where you come to neutrality. That is where you come to moksha. There is one place which is called swarga, which is heaven. Okay, and beyond that is moksha, which is complete freedom. You don't have desires. It's beyond desires. Heaven is where your desires are fulfilled. Moksha is where you don't have desires. You're just pure free energy. So that is the concept here. Okay, I'm just explaining the concept. This is debatable. You can say this is a myth. You can say that I don't agree with all this. I'm just explaining to you a point of view. All right, now in hell is a state where you're wanting pleasures. Okay, so it's like this. It's dopamine, right? If you are constantly searching for pleasure, dopamine wants more and more. So every time you get something, you want more. You get into a dopamine state. That itself is a kind of hell. Okay, and if you are happy being wherever you are, happy just existing, okay, that kind of pleasure is heaven. You are pleasure, where you are joy, you are happiness, and you are doing what you like best. Okay, and are not waiting for the next moment of goodness. So good people are generally waiting for who they'll find good, who's good to them, who they want. They're constantly judging. Evil people are just doing their shit. They're just enjoying life. They're just having complete fun, even though they may be engaging in pleasure. And I'm not saying be evil or any kind of thing. The best thing is to be neutral, is to be neither pro pleasure nor pro pain. You just see life for what it is, sort it out. If you don't like pain, exit it. Okay, if you like pleasures, go to it, but don't be attached. The moment you get attached to it, you will go into the whole heaven hell scenario. You just be in the center. Look at what makes sense to you. Okay, look at what makes you happy. Look, not just happy, what makes you whole, what makes you satisfied. That is where you'll actually get the idea of moksha, where you freedom from everything. Whether this exists or it doesn't matter. But wouldn't you rather be free than be in a state of bondage with anything, for that matter?